Hello everyone and welcome to this social media content creation webinar. I'm Sofia, I'm Nu Skin Zero social media manager, and I'm really excited to be here today talking about something that can really make a difference in your business, which is creating social media content that feels authentic, that looks professional, and that help people understand the value in what they see. I know social media can be scary. Sometimes we think that we need the best equipment and that we need to look like Instagram models in order to share our content on social media, but I'm here to prove that that's not the case. Whether you're just starting and have no idea what to do, or whether you are already recording your content and sharing it on your platforms, in this webinar, I'm sure you will find several tips to take that content to the next level. And if there's one thing that I want you to take from this webinar, is that social media is not just a place to post, it's a place to connect, to educate, to grow. You most likely already have your followers, which are your friends, your family, your colleagues, people you know. And social media, it's a great way to start the conversation regarding the products that you want to sell and the business that you want to grow. And you may wonder what makes this webinar different from any other video I can find online about content creation, which, by the way, there are tons. Go and find it. I encourage you to find and look at as many as you want or need or like. But what makes this one special is that it's made especially for you as a brand affiliate, because I will touch on Nu Skin topics. I will talk about skincare routines, wellness habits, approved claims. That is one of the key things that I also want you to take away from this. How to properly show our products on your pages. So let's move a bit. People don't just buy products, they buy trust, they buy education, and they buy authenticity. And this is where social media can come in as a very powerful tool. Because you can do what you do with your clients on a one-to-one basis, but for all the people that follow you at the same time. And if you're your true self, you're authentic, you're true to the products and true to the science of Nu Skin, this can be a great way to boost your business and reach more people than you could ever thought of even. I don't want to overpromise because we're starting from the beginning, but with consistency, with your own personality, you can make it happen for yourself. So here's what we're going to touch on today. We already talked about why social media can be a great tool to boost your business, and now we're diving into the how. How to create content, which content works for Nu Skin products, and also, and I know this is the reason why some of you are watching today, we will talk about all the details you need to know about the upcoming social media challenge, but I will save that for later. All that I'm gonna say now is that you could win the chance to be featured on Nu Skin Zero's social media account and receive some surprise prizes. But if you want to learn more, stick with me, because I think it will be worth it. So without further ado, let's dive into it and let's start with the foundations of content creation. I have divided this section into 5 pillars, starting with all you need to know about your camera, your lighting, the stability of your camera. This is very important and sometimes overlooked. The audio, and the most important of all, composition. We're going to start with the basics, but these few tips that I'm going to give you, I can guarantee you are going to change your content drastically. So let's start with the camera. One of the questions that I receive most often from people that want to start recording content is like, what camera settings do I use? And I'm gonna break it down to you in a way that you not only change these settings, but you understand why you're changing it and what each of those numbers means. Because real progress comes from understanding and being able to use the tools the way you want them to use it. So if you want the quick answer, the answer is here. Resolution, as big as you can. Most phones nowadays have 4K resolution. If not, 1080 is more than enough for a social media video. On a phone, you won't be able to see the difference between 1080 and 4K. If we move this video to a television screen, yes, of course, 1080 won't be enough, but for the content you want to create, the content I'm creating, 1080 is okay. If you have 4K option available, go for it. It's better. It will allow you to zoom in without losing any quality. But 1080, it's also very, very, very acceptable. Then the number that we see right next to the resolution is the frame rate. What does that mean? We know that videos are just a lot of images put one after the other one. That's how cinema was invented. And that's what this little number right next to the resolution represents. Usually, most phones and cameras have 24 frame rate, 30 frame rate, 60, and 120. And what this means is how many little images are there in 1 second. So 24 or 30 are what the human eye is used to and what makes a video look natural when we are watching it. 24 is what cinema uses, 30 is the standard for social media because our eyes have gotten used to videos being smoother on social media. And the difference is not perceptible for like the regular person, which is me and you. Then we enter the 60 and more. And this is what you would use if you want to create a slow motion video. Because you have more images in this 1 second, you're able to stretch this video and make it slow motion without it being all like this. So if you want to film a slow motion video, go for 60, go for 120 if you have that option. Some phones nowadays already have the pre-built slow motion function. Just go for it, it's right there. And if your phone doesn't have it, you can probably select the higher frame rate that you have, and that will give you a better slow motion video. We will have some examples about this in the next slide, but now let's go into the last setting, which is the format. Please, 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 I'm begging you, go for vertical full screen, which translates to 9:16. This will give you the more natural full screen social media video look that we're after. Anything else and your video doesn't really feel the screen and it looks unprofessional. What we want here is to elevate the content, and this is just one small setting that will make your videos more professional. We have the settings here, so resolution as high as you can, frame rate 30 for a normal video, 60, 120 for slow motions, and format 9:16. Now for some tips. Use the back camera as much as possible because it's usually better resolution. Always, always, always clean your camera lens before recording. You might think it's clean, but it might not be. Then tap on whatever you want to focus on the screen before starting to record. It will usually be a product. So tap on it to make sure it's on focus. Also make sure to clean the product before, pro tip. And you don't need the latest phone to create this. Most phones nowadays with the right settings and the right light are good enough to record content for social media. Because remember, what we want is authenticity. We don't want that professional look, because that's what professional videographers are for. You want to connect with real people, and the way you will do that is by being real, by using your real phone, by using your products, by being at your house. So start with what you already have, and I can guarantee you with the right tips, you can make it look professional. Now let me show you the examples that I was talking about before about the frame rate. 30 frame rate against 120 for slow motion. The difference is very clear. I have nothing to say about it, just watch it. Now let's move on into light. But before we do that, I hope you're taking notes, and if you don't, this is your chance to pause, go get a notebook, and start writing down all these tips and tricks. So now that you have your notebook with you, let's dive into it. Our goal here is to keep tones as natural as possible because people are comfortable watching content that look clean rather than overly artificial. So let's start with what you have. You have the sun, it's right there, it's free. Unless you don't have any windows available like me right now, that's where I'm filming with a light ring. But what this light ring is trying to emulate is natural light. So before you rush into getting any fancy equipment, remember that all of them are trying to emulate, to replicate the natural sunlight. So if you already have natural sunlight, let's take advantage of that. The ideal, the most beautiful light to film with is the golden hour light. That is the time, like that hour when the sun is setting, and it produces this very warm light that makes your skin look beautiful, that make products look beautiful. So if you happen to remember that you want to record something and it's right during the golden hour, then yes, rush and record that content. So what I always recommend is being close to the window. If you're recording a product, then having the window behind you and allowing for the light to shine on the product. If you're recording yourself, then you're facing the window and allowing for all the light to touch your beautiful face. And then, of course, if you have the possibility of having extra light, like a light ring, for example, they're not that expensive. So if you have it, they help a lot. They're not a necessity, but they do help a lot. Just make sure that the light is soft and not like super strongly burning the image, burning the product or your face. Now, some things to try to avoid is having the overhead light being your main source of light, because we want the light to be at eye level. We want it to come from the front, right? Then also having mixed lights, having like too many points of focus. Now you can see I do have some lights up here, but they are quite dim. Another thing we want to try to avoid is having multiple sorts of lights coming from all different angles, because this will not only make your phone camera confused, it doesn't know where to focus, it will also make the viewer lose track of what is important. So always remember to keep the light on what's important, that being you or that being the product that you want to promote. And the last tip I have for you regarding light is to try to avoid having strong backlights, because as I was saying, you want the light to be on what's important, not behind it, because you want all the attention here. That's why it's very often you can hear like, oh, you are against the light, you're against the light. And that's why I was saying before that if you are recording close to a window, make sure that the light that comes from that window is touching what you want to highlight and it's not against what you want to highlight. So I hope you took notes. Let's move into what's next. So now we have stability and audio. I'm gonna quickly go through these two because I think these are concepts that are very easy to grab. Stability, we want as much stability as possible. If you have a tripod, that makes recording so much easier. It reduces camera shake, which is the ultimate goal. If you don't, you can get creative. Find objects that you have around your house and put your phone against them. I've done this a lot of times myself. But if you're holding your camera with your hand, some phones nowadays have a really good camera stabilization, some not as good. So hold it with a good grip and try to stay as calm as possible and not shake as much. I said before, don't rush and invest on something yet, but if you have to start somewhere, I would say start with investing on a tripod. It will make your life so much easier. You can thank me later. Now, when it comes to the audio, let's go back to the basics. Let's make sure there is no loud, distracting noises in the background. And to do that, you have two options. You can either be aware of this and record in a quiet space if you're talking to the camera, or if you are not talking to the camera, you can record wherever, take the sound out, and then add your voiceover or add some nice background music. Background music, it's a key. Make sure it's not louder than your voice. Make sure it's really background music, and the most important thing is your voice. But sometimes we don't want to talk to the camera, and that's fine. Then add a good song with nice rhythm for people to stay along and watch your video. And a pro tip that we use regularly on Nu Skin: if you're recording a voiceover and don't have one of these microphones to make your voice smoother, what you can do is get under the blankets with your phone and record directly to the phone. Make sure it's not too close to your mouth, but like at a normal distance, and that would keep all the background noise away and concentrate your voice into the phone. Now you know. Now moving into my favorite part, which is composition. This will change the game for you, I can guarantee. Even if you know the tricks that we're seeing right now, I keep learning compositions techniques all the time. And it's wonderful, and it elevates your videos without you even noticing. We're gonna talk about the rules of thirds in a bit. Let's move into fill the frame. This is exactly what it sounds like. Fill the frame with what's important. Don't leave too much empty space around you or around the product, because we want to highlight the product. And if I have it here, it's not very highlighted. If I have it there, you can see it properly and you know what to pay attention to. Then keep the background clean. Anything that can be distracting, anything that you wouldn't want other people to see, take it away. This is something that you have to be very aware of before filming. Take a second, look at your screen. What do I see? What can I take away? What is distracting? What is not adding to the composition? Because it's not a matter of recording against a white wall, because that's boring. We don't want boring. We want entertainment, right? But we also want polish. I've seen a lot of really nice content created by you that if you had removed something that was in the background, it would have been so polished and so perfect. So it's that attention to detail that really, really, really makes the difference. So see the table behind me? It didn't used to look like that before I started recording. I took 1 second to look at what was in frame and decided what I wanted to keep and what should go. So I went from this to this, which is much polished, right? Because I want the focus to be in what's important and not in the cluster behind me. So I want you to really, really remember this and be aware of it every time you're gonna take a picture or record something. What is in the background? What can I remove? What I should keep? Now, another composition technique that is key when we're talking to the camera or when we want to sell a product is to keep things eye level. Because remember that the goal here is to connect. And how do we connect with people? Talking eye to eye. Now we have the phone in the middle, but it's the same energy. We don't want these weird top angles. You might think you look better from here, but in reality, you talk with someone eye to eye. And it's the same with the products. You want to show them as good as possible, and the better angle is the eye level angle. Let's not even discuss the bottom angle. I'm not going to show you the example because I don't want you to see my double chin. So let's move to the next one. I think the most important one, and it's the most simple, there's no explanation behind it. Film with purpose. What do you want to show? What do you want to tell people? What is the added value that you're bringing with your video? You want to show a product, okay, tell me about it, explain it to me, make me interested in that product. I don't want to buy a product because you tell me to. I want to buy it because it brings something to my life, right? So think about what you want to show and film with purpose. And lastly, we have create depth, but I'm going to talk about it more in the next couple of slides. So let's go. The rule of thirds is every photographer's out there holy grail. And once you see it, once you learn it, you cannot unsee it. Now let's take a second. I will give you time. Grab your phone. Probably you already have it. Go to the camera and see if you can turn on the camera grid. Some phones, unfortunately, don't have this function. You could download an external app It's not mandatory, but I can guarantee you it makes a difference. So what is this rule of thirds? You separate your screen in 3 horizontal sections and 3 vertical sections, forming 9 squares. So what the rule of thirds tells us is that the human eye focuses on one of those 4 intersections. That's where our eye goes to first. So if you want to put the focus on something, you should put it on one of those 4 points, as we can see in the example here below. If you have 2 points of interest, then you put them one on each and diagonally, as we can see in the other 2 examples. But it doesn't stop there. The rule of thirds also tells us that if you have a horizon line, it should be in one of the horizontal lines. And we see this in the first picture here. We don't have the horizon, but we do have the kitchen table. And it aligns perfectly with the bottom horizontal line. And this gives symmetry. This makes things look natural and appealing. And the last thing we can learn from the rule of thirds is that if we have a person, if we have a subject, we should position them in one of these vertical lines, because this brings balance. And we can see this perfectly in the example here to the right. This woman is perfectly on that vertical line, and the composition feels harmonic. Then 2 extra tips I have for you. Leave some overhead space. Don't crop your picture or video right where the head ends. Even worse, don't crop it on my forehead. Why would you do that? Don't make me feel claustrophobic. Give me some space to breathe. Give your characters and give your products some space to breathe. It's not the same to have the product like this than to have it like this. See? It deserves some little space to breathe. And lastly, and this is a pro tip. If you have a person, you also want to leave some looking room. Because, for example, if I'm not facing straight to the camera and I'm looking that way, see what happens if I stand here and look that way? What's happening with all this space here? It's weird, because our eyes as viewers tend to follow the eyes of the person we're seeing. We're drawn to the curiosity of what they're looking for. So if I am looking that way, you want to position me more on this side so you can follow with your own eyes what I'm seeing. That was it for the rules of thirds. Let's go into the last composition technique, and then we jump into something else. And now the last composition technique that we're going to talk about is depth, but I'm not going to stay here for too long because I know that intuitively you know this. When you tap on the product to focus on it and make the background blurry, you are creating depth. And what that's telling the viewer is to focus on this and not that, because that's not important. So always tap on what you want to highlight, whether it's yourself or whether it's the product. This way you make the background blurry and you tell the viewer what they need to focus on, what's important. And we can see it in all these 3 pictures. We have the product and we have a blurry background, and this creates dimension. This makes the image interesting, but with the focus still on what's important. And a pro tip, if you're feeling creative and adventurous, try adding things to your composition. We talked about getting rid of the cluster. Don't forget that, but add things intentionally. Let's look at these candles that are behind this picture. They are in the background, they're blurry, but they add dimension. They add a point of interest without taking our eyes away from what's important, which is the devices, right? So have fun. Try compositions, see what works for you and what you think looks good. It's most likely what everyone else thinks looks good. Now, just as a reminder, if I didn't make it clear enough, keep the background clean. Please, I'm begging you. Now, we have gone through all the fundamentals of video recording. What comes next? Editing. The step that is the most scary for some people. I'm not going to dive very deep into it because that will take another full webinar, But if you want it, please leave it in the comments. If you think that's something that will be useful for you, I will be very, very happy to share what I know. But what I would do now is go through some tips for you and go through some apps that are very beginning friendly. There are tons online, there are tons of videos on how to be proficient in these apps. Pick the one that you feel more comfortable with, pick the one that is intuitive to you, and just explore. The way you learn how to edit is by doing it. Whenever you have an idea and don't know how to execute it, you Google it. I do it all the time. Every video editor does it all the time because that's the way to learn. Some of the apps that I would recommend to you as a beginner are CapCut, InShot, Canva editing. It's quite beginning friendly, and it's an app that you might be already familiar with. And then we have some built-in from our social medias. We have built-in editing on TikTok. We have built-in editing on Instagram now as well. So you can start there and let your creativity run free. Now, when it comes to editing tips, everyone has its own style, and editing depends on the message that you want to give. If you want a more educational video, then you don't need to cut much because you want to be authentic and you want to talk to the camera, right? But if you are doing an unboxing or a skincare routine, you would want to cut every 1 to 3 seconds. That is the norm for social media. That's what works. And we all know our attention span has decreased, is non-existent anymore. So you want to keep your audience engaged, right? You want to cut every single second and show them a new angle. And in this same sense, you want to eliminate everything that's not adding. So if there is a pause, cut it. If you think your scene is short enough, shorten it more. And lastly, add background music. Music is key to keep the entertainment. Music is everywhere, especially on social media videos. And lastly, search for inspiration. There are tons of videos of how to record this, how to do that. Tons and tons of tons. But not only that, next time you're scrolling on your favorite social media and you see a video that caught your eye, look at it again and see how fast they cut from one scene to another. See which transition techniques they use. And remember and think about, oh, I can do this in my next video. That's the way to go. That's the way to learn and to improve. Now the moment you've been waiting for. Not the challenge details yet, but what works on social media? What type of content can I recreate as a Nu Skin brand affiliate? And let me tell you what works for us as people who are passionate about talking about Nu Skin products. We have 4 main categories of what type of content you could be creating. You could do skincare routines or wellness habits, depending on which products you sell. This works because people don't want just a product. They want a lifestyle. They want things that complement their routine. They have goals and they want to achieve this goal. They don't want just a cleanser. They want to have nice skin. That's the goal. And you achieve this nice skin with a skincare routine. So you can show them your skincare routine. You can show them which products you use in the morning, which products you use at night, which products you use when you travel. Or you can show them your wellness habits, when you exercise, which supplements you take, why you take them. But make this a whole. Don't just show products. Tell a story. Show your daily life. Show your routine, because we want authenticity. We are tired of seeing people trying to sell us things. We want to see you being you, telling me what had worked for you. Then another category would be ingredients of product explanation. And I think there is a lot of room to work here because we're lucky enough to work for Nu Skin, which is a company that has tons and tons of clinical studies that we can go to, we can read, and then we can translate that to a language that our audience understands and translate that to benefits that they will get from products. But before you jump right into it, please stick to the approved claims. Stick to what we're allowed to say, because you can create a perfect video, but if you say something, if you promise something that we cannot guarantee, if you oversell the product, unfortunately, I won't be able to share that perfect video with every person that follows Nu Skin. Then another format that really works is unboxing, showing products in detail, showing the texture, and a benefit from this, if you don't want your face out there, if you don't want to talk to camera, you don't need to. Let the product talk for itself. And lastly, something that I would love to see more and more and more, it's before and afters. If you are starting to use a new product, you can use this opportunity to record your before, and then in a couple of months, show your audience your transformation, because nothing speaks louder than proof. And you can be your own model, you can be their own example. If people know you, and for example, they see you started taking TRM supplements, and now you're closer to your weight management goals, they will be inspired, they will want to know your secret, and you will be able to tell them your secret. If you started a new skincare routine and it's really working for you, you can tell them, hey, this is what I've been doing, and look, it's been really working for me. So use yourself as your biggest tool. Now, there's a formula that every influencer knows and follows every time, which is hook, value, and action. First, you want to grab the attention. We already discussed it, we have no attention span. So you have to make sure intentionally to grab my attention. So start with something that is impactful. Oh, here there are 3 mistakes I was making before and I'm no longer doing. Or these are 3 things that I wish I knew sooner. This is the one product I would die on a hill for. And then you have to show me the value. Because I don't want to buy a product, I want to buy a solution. So you should start with the problem, then the solution, and then the product. The product as a natural part of your video, not as the first thing we see. And lastly, you should encourage action, because social media algorithms love when there is engagement. They love when people leave comments on your videos, when they share your videos with their friends. So you can prompt this by saying, leave me a comment and I will give you more information. Share this with your friend who still washes their face with soap or whatever you can think of. So there you go. This is the magic formula. You don't need to follow it every time, but you do have to keep it in mind. And keep in mind that this is what most influencers do all the time because it works. But okay, enough with all this theory, enough with all the talking. Let's see some real examples. And I want you to, while you look at the videos, think of everything that you have learned so far and how they are using that in these videos. So let's see. Let's go to the first one.
Here are 4 of my daily non-negotiables that keep me feeling my best every week. First up, I kickstart my morning with mindfulness. Journaling for about 10 to 15 minutes helps me set the tone for the day ahead. Next, a healthy diet is key for me. Every day, I make sure to fuel my body with a nutritious breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I've recently added TRMe Real Me to my daily routine. With just 2 capsules alongside one of my nutritious meals, it helps prevent fat accumulation by the liver, keeping me on track with my wellness goals. And of course, staying active is a must. Whether it's a home workout or hitting the gym, physical activity boosts my endorphins, keeping both my mind and body in top shape.
Okay, so there are at least 3 things that I want to highlight from this video. It's very, very clean. We see no cluster behind. And of course, you don't need to have that house to make this video, because once again, we want authenticity. We want to see your house, but we want to see your house when it's clean. We don't want to see it at its lowest. We want to see it at its best. Then, see how he inserted the supplements as a part of story. It's not just the supplement, it's his whole routine. It's what he does. We see him reading, we see him exercising, and then we see the product as a part of something bigger. And lastly, all the filming movements and editing techniques make the video feel dynamic. Even though it's not a very fast-paced video, it's still not boring. See how fast this video changes? Okay, Sophie, yeah, that's been interesting. We've been learning, but what about the challenge? Let's dive into it. We reached that point, and let me give you all the tips and tricks so you can be one of the winners that will be featured in No Skin Zero's official accounts. And you heard right, there will be several winners. I will go into that in a bit, but for now, what is the main goal of this challenge? We want, as I said, to feature more authentic content. We want to feature your content. We want to give you visibility. We want to help you boost your business. So by now you've been taking notes, you've been thinking of your next video. So this is your chance to put all of that to the test and be exposed to our huge audience. So what does this challenge entail? It's very straightforward. You have to record a video about one of our devices, one or multiple, all of them, whichever you prefer, whichever you feel more comfortable with, whichever you have tried and love, your bestseller. So you pick your favorite device, you record the video, upload it to your favorite social media, being Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And this is very, very important to participate in the challenge. And for us to receive your video, you have to use the hashtag NoSkinDevice. And of course, you will have to do this during the stipulated time frame. That is not in this video because this video will stay in YouTube, so you can rewatch it as many times as you want to. But don't worry, you will get an email with all the information. We will post it on our Facebook groups, so you will get this information. And from the moment you get this communication, you will have more than enough time to create this video. So no need to worry, no need to rush. I want you to be able to have time to record it, to re-record it, to upload several videos. You can upload as many as you want to, so you have more possibilities of winning. And speaking about winning, let's look into the different winners. So for this challenge, we'll have 5 winners in total. I know that's crazy. We'll have one main winner, which will be the European level winner, awarded to the best video out there. And for this video, it will have to be either in English, but if you don't feel comfortable talking to the camera or you don't feel comfortable in your English, don't worry, because you can still participate for this big prize with a video without voiceover. That is completely fine. So for the main big prize, we have a video that is in English or without voice, and this main winner will get some surprise prizes, but also, and the most important, will get tons of exposure by being featured on our official accounts with a collaborative post that will remain on our feed forever, so all our followers can watch it. But then we also wanted to give the chance for everyone across Europe. And we know it's a big continent, we have tons of languages that are spoken here, so we will also have 4 other winners, one per each No Skin region. And to participate for this prize, you can record your video in your local language. All these 4 winners will also be exposed to our following by reposting that video and sharing it on our stories, and you will also get a surprise prize. So thinking strategically here and giving you like a little tip. If you can upload as many videos as you want to, the more you upload, the more chances you have to be selected. And for example, you can upload a video in English and another one in your local language, maybe one without voiceover, trying different devices, trying different hooks, and see what works best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's trial and error, it's learning what resonates with your own audience. We will have a panel of multidisciplinary experts selecting the content based on these 3 criteria. So the first one, and the most important one, is a correct use of the product and the claims. This is very basic, but if your video, it doesn't matter how amazing it is, if it's not compliant with No Skin regulations, we cannot boost that content. So before anything else, make sure you're using the product correctly, make sure you're not overselling it and using correct claims. We're going to have a little reminder of approved and non-approved claims in a little bit, but if you have any doubts, you can always check the product pages. They are there for you to use them, and they're there for you to get inspiration. Then another thing that's important is that the branding is visible. You want the name of the product to be visible to the audience, and you don't want any other competitors' products in frame. And you cannot mention any other competitors. I think that's something that we all know, but it's always useful to remind you. So if your video passes this first criteria, then we go to evaluate the quality of it, and then we go to evaluate everything that we learned so far. So what we will be paying attention to in terms of quality, it's everything that we have discussed so far. So good quality of video, good light, good audio, no background mess, also the right format, very important as well, and your added value. And here is where I want to see all your creativity, all your ideas shine through. And here is where you have the chance to separate your video from the mass. So let your creativity run free, try several videos, see what works for you. Always remember to stick to approved claims and correct use of the product. Something that I think is very relevant for me to say right now, and it's something that I see very, very often, and I know it looks amazing on social media, but it's not the correct use of the product. It's squishing your cleanser on the LumiSpa head. That is not how you're supposed to do it. I know it looks amazing, but it's not the proper way of using the product. So if you do that for your video, unfortunately, it won't be passing the first criteria. So pay attention to this, tell it to your team and tell it to your friends. Don't do it this way, do it the proper way, which is putting cleanser on your face and then using your LumiSpa on it. And I am highlighting this because you might see it in other regions that they do it even in the official accounts, because they are allowed to, but us in Europe, we're not. So I think it's important and something to pay attention to. Now let's look at some examples of really nice content that you could create. And I want you to pay attention to everything that we've learned so far, how fast it changed from one clip to the other, the light, the use of the product, everything that we've seen so far. Pay attention in these two videos that we're gonna see. So going back to what's approved and what's not, let's take a look at the claims and what you can say and you cannot on social media. So as a general rule, don't speak in absolutes, don't overpromise things, and don't use medical terminology. But instead of that, what you can do and what works really well is talking about your own experience. And you can back this experience with the claims, with our science. We're lucky enough, as I said, to have a lot of science to back us up. So you can quote these clinical studies. And also, speaking from your own experience, make your content more legitimate and more authentic. So in general, this is the way to go. So I brought a few examples for you. We can go through them quite quickly. Instead of saying ageLOC LumiSpa Blemish Serum will cure your acne. First of all, acne is a medical term. That's why we use blemishes, and that's why it's called blemish serum. And second of all, you're making promises that we cannot guarantee. So what you can say instead, it helps clean your pores and prevent the appearances of blemishes. And you can use this opportunity to explain what a blemish is and to educate your audience. What an amazing opportunity. Another example with our beloved toothpaste, it's that it will make you this permanently white. Once again, we're over-promising and we're making very, very big claims. What you should say instead is like, I tried, look at my before and after. or it removes the stains from your teeth, taking them back to their natural beautiful color. Or if your business revolves around supplements, instead of saying like, oh dear me, it's a magical cure for weight loss. First of all, we all know that there are no magical cures, and we all know that it's part of a full routine. So what you can show is your full wellness routine and say that, dear me, my goal adds and help you achieve your wellness goals. So that was it for this webinar, but I want to give you a little present for sticking all the way to the end. So now you can take a screenshot of the mental checklist that you have to go through before recording. This is very, very useful to not forget those little details. So to wire back a little bit, key things to always remember: to keep your lens clean, to use the vertical format, to record in as high of quality as possible, to always tap on the product to make it focus, to have a clean background. Once again, I think I said it like 50 times by now, but it's important to have the product name visible, and as we just saw, to stick to approved claims, go to the PAP and not overpromise. So if you ever have doubts about what's allowed and what's not, first check the PAPs. Everything that it's in there, it's allowed. If it's not there, most likely we're not allowed to say it. But also you can check our website. In the compliance corner, you will find a section for social media. I will leave the link down below for you to check it. It's very useful because it has everything from a legal perspective, but translated to a very easy to understand language with examples, with do's and don'ts. So always check it. Don't forget it's there. It's for you to profit from it. So we reached the end of this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was easy to follow. I hope you learned things. I hope you're already thinking about what video you want to create. And if you have any doubts, please leave them in the comments. I will be checking them daily and I will be replying to them. And if you found this webinar useful, I will be very, very happy to keep creating this type of videos for you. Maybe we can even have it live so I can answer your questions in the moment. But I want your feedback and I want to know if this is something that you're interested in. So also leave it in the comments if you would like more videos and which topics you want to treat in those videos, whether it's editing, whether it's going deeper into how to do with each product. Just let me know what you want to know and I will do my best to make it happen for you so we can keep growing together. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day and see you in the next one. Bye bye.